Hello there. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to my podcast, Sacred Soul Sisters. My name is Justina. I am an Usui Holy Fire and Angel Reiki Master with over 20 years of practice, and I'm your host. I can't wait to let others feel the love of community and remind us of the importance of coming together instead of coming apart. Now let's take a deep breath together in through our nose and a long exhale out of our mouth. This is my intentions in a poem to set the tone for our sacred soul sister community. Here you go. Welcome, dear soul, to this sacred space where all are embraced with love and grace. From every land, from near and far, no matter who you are, you're a star. Feel the warmth, the light, the peace. Let your spirit find release. Here we gather, hearts aligned, to uplift, to heal, to realign. Breathe in deeply, feel your glow. Let your light expand and flow. As I pour into you with love so true, your cup overflows, your soul renews. Together we rise, in love we stand, lifting vibrations hand in hand. A mission of light, a journey divine. Thank you for sharing your soul with mine. Welcome to the Sacred Soul Sisters space, a home of love and sacred embrace. I'm so glad you're here. Hello. How is everybody? My voice is a little dry. It's early morning. I got my first cup of water down, which I force myself to do before I start with my coffee because I freaking love coffee. If you have any awesome coffee suggestions, I'm always willing to try new ones. So definitely reach out and let me know. So, fall. Wow, I can't believe we're already here. What is it about the end of September, early October that seems like everything just kind of goes crazy in my world anyway? I feel like there's all these roller coasters of emotions and really being invited to go in deep within. And I'm hoping that you're feeling it as a subtle shift of the season, slightly cooler air, softer light, an invitation to slow down and reflect. Life, as always, continues to unfold in its cycles, sometimes with joy, sometimes with heartache, and sometimes it feels like it's more of a freight train on a really, really old roller coaster that has lots of bumps. That's probably not the best description. But grief really seems to come up for me around this time. And I guess I know why. My best friend passed away in September. My grandma passed away that following October. And I don't know. I feel like it's made kind of an imprint for this time of year to kind of, I don't know. I feel like every year it unlocks a little bit more of me to release, which is great, along with healing. But there's also this sort of sadness and reminder. Not that I need a reminder they're not here anymore, because trust me, I don't. I'm very aware. I don't know. It just seems like a lot sometimes. And I had a day the other day where it just kind of started early in the morning. Grief sneaks in sometimes, right? Like, man, it comes in with like a vengeance. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was doing great. Like, where did you come from? No, not really interested in hanging out with you today. And grief's like, oh, well, that's cool, but I'm about to bring you down a notch. And it brings me to my knees. Like, I have this moment where it's like a shaking loose. Like, it's almost as if someone's screaming at me, you have no control over this situation right now. You can't make the people that you love come back. You can't bypass this emotion right now. Like, you're going to release the parts that you haven't released yet. You're going to give yourself a moment and let it out. Cry, scream, whatever you got to do. And on a logical level, I know that I should do that, right? Because I know that you're supposed to emote emotions. But on a busy mom level, I don't want to take the time to do that. I don't know. But grief won the other day, okay? And is the moral of the story. And it seemed like it had one of those days where I think of, what is that kid's book? Something in the no good, terrible day or something like that, because that's literally what it was. Every time I turned around, there was something else horrible happening. And then later in the day, our 15-year-old dog, who has been struggling for a bit, medically, physically, kind of deteriorating for a while, but this past week and a half or so really took a nosedive and rapidly declining to the point that he was just completely miserable. He has he's a Yorkie, and his trachea, which is his windpipe, so what he breathes through, but it's also lays against like his esophagus, right? And it sort of is disintegrating. They also feel like he has splenic cancer that has reached a different level, not treatable at this point. There's just a lot of things, and he has really, really bad arthritis that hurts for him to stand up. Anyway, he had been doing relatively well, but again, about a week and a half ago, really started to take a nosedive. So, yesterday, my, no, I'm sorry, I think it's been 2 days ago now. My 18-year-old daughter and I took him to the vet. My son had just gotten home from school and didn't want to see or hear the possibility of what they could tell us once we get to the vet. And the vet had told us about 6 months ago that there would likely come a point where we would get to this point and he would be super miserable. I mean, lots of vomiting, and really not even totally vomiting, just stuff just rolling out of his mouth in large amounts. Sorry to be graphic. Anyway, so I had my son give him hugs and kisses before we left. Our little dog's name was Gizmo. Hello. I just wanted to drop in real quick. And I wanted to reach out this invitation. If you and your friends feel called to gather for a spiritual retreat, say there is a venue near you, say there's one of your friends' homes that you'd like to host it in. Currently only in the United States, I am doing this, but my goal is definitely to be able to broaden my horizons in the near future. But if you and your friends feel called to gather for a spiritual retreat somewhere local to you, and one that nurtures healing, love, peace, rejuvenation, I would be honored to hold space and guide you through that journey. Retreats are seriously one of my greatest joys: to lead, to teach, to share, to create community together, to love on people, to remind them how worthy and amazing they are. I just absolutely love them. And also, if you know of a venue or a sacred space with beautiful healing energy that you'd love to suggest for some of my retreats in the future, I would love to hear from you. So please reach out, let me know, or if you would like more information or to connect, please reach out to me at email Justina, Justina, @angelreikijourney.com. So Justina, Justina, at ANGELREIKIJOURNEY.com. I can't wait to hear from you. I love you guys. Have a great day. We have 3 dogs, but this is our oldest dog. And so, and I'd been talking to my youngest daughter about this for a while, trying to let her know he's getting older. In dog years, they age a little faster. So it's like he's a really, really old man and human. And I think trying to remind all of us that the time may be coming. So we got to the vet. The vet confirmed his medical issues had very rapidly declined. And she very much agreed he seems very uncomfortable. And since he is, he hasn't been eating, he takes sips of water, but then it immediately comes out. There's just so many things. So the decision was made. My husband and I had talked the previous night. He wasn't able to take off work for the day. We have, I have PRN jobs too. And in the medical profession, it's really, you're limited on when you can take off. It's sometimes there's not somebody to take over. Anyway, so my husband and I had talked the previous night. We discussed with the kids that it would be a possibility once we got there. So we're sitting in the vet's office, me and my daughter, and I'm holding her Gizmo in a soft blanket. He's very comfortable when I sit with him and I hold him and I gently pet him. Otherwise, he's shaking, uncomfortable. And yeah, so, he has followed me around for years. He, for the last couple of years, goes immediately to the bedroom door around 6:30 or 7, stares me down, and he's like, okay, I'm ready to go to bed, because of course he sleeps in the bed with me. And for the last couple of weeks, we've been up together several times a night. We had to be up several times a night for the last probably year and a half, because bless his heart, he was older and had to pee at least 2 to 3 times a night. But the last couple of weeks we've been up because he has to do a number of things and he's just uncomfortable, right? So we spent a lot of time together, cleaning him up, bless his heart, cleaning up the floor, cleaning up myself, cleaning because he's uncomfortable. And it has been exhausting at times. And I know that I've been short with him at times, and I'm sitting in the vet's office and just feeling so terrible about that. Like flashing back to moments here and there where I'm like, oh my gosh, not again. And things like that, things you do when you get to that point, and really talking to yourself about why couldn't I have just been, so much more laid back? Why couldn't I have just been, it's okay. It doesn't matter that it's the 30th time you vomited on my foot, or, had diarrhea on my lap, or like, why couldn't I have not gotten pissy sometimes? He couldn't help it, right? He couldn't help it. And there were moments I would just be like, are you serious again? And I'm so irritated with myself about that, because what he needed was just continuous love and support. And while I did that, the majority of the time, there were moments I was kind of pissy and fussy. And fussy is one of the things I freaking hate in people. Oh my gosh, I can't hardly tolerate people that are fussy and complaining all the time, or why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why is this way? Why is this that way? Shut up. Just freaking. Anyway, okay, getting off on a tangent. So I'm sitting there in the vet's office, and, the vet and I have been talking while I'm holding Gizmo, and we both finally come to a point where we decide, okay, we're going to do this. The decision is made to release him into the spirit world on that day that I'm there, right? And right after we finished our sentence with that, took a deep breath, Gizmo, who's been kind of out of it when he's not having a bodily function, bless his heart, he's sleeping, and he popped up with like all of this energy. He looked me straight in the face, nose to nose, just stood there and stared into my eyes. And bless his heart, he can barely see. And to the point that I was sort of dumbfounded that he had all of that energy to pop up, get right in my face. My daughter's sitting next to me, the vet staring at me, just nose to nose. It was for like a minute and a half straight. And then he kissed me on the mouth, and then he laid back down. Oh. He has not kissed me in the face for probably like 3 years, maybe. I mean, it's been a long time. And it felt like this moment of, it's okay. It's okay. We can do this. I'm ready. Oh, my daughter, bless her heart, just started bawling. Oh, her tears just increased and mounted. Just tears, welling up in my eye. I'm shocked at the moment, and also feeling so blessed in a weird sort of way at the moment, right? Then there was a second, he lifted up his head and he got kind of like anxious and agitated for a minute. And I thought, oh, maybe he's got to go to the bathroom. But he just started looking around, and he was looking up and he was looking down and he was looking to the left, to the right. And it was so much a feeling like, oh my goodness, he is just looking at all these spirits in this room. Like his team has already gathered. They're here. They're right here with him. So I leaned down to him and I whispered that he was safe. I told him all is well. All is well. Only love and light is allowed in this room. We're right here with you. I'm not going to release you into anything scary, to anything uncomfortable. Everything we did was very graceful, very, very soft, very gentle. And so the vet comes in right after this. He lays his head back down. He's comfortable again. Continue to hold him in the soft blanket. They put the first medicine in. He rather quickly falls asleep, and then the second medicine comes. And she explained the second medicine would be the time, right? So the second medicine is done going in. We're still holding him. And very shortly after, I feel this big whoosh of loving, calming, peaceful energy radiating from him. Honestly, it almost felt like it came into me for a minute. I felt it so strongly in my heart space. It was bizarre, and then it just dissipated. But then pretty quickly after that, the numbness of what really happened started to sink in, and I started to go into this zone, this weird space, this sort of out of body feeling. Like you can see everything and everyone around you, but you can't really follow thoughts. There's not even a current emotion being displayed from you. You're just kind of zombie-like. The weird space wasn't new for me. I wish it was. I remember it when my best friend passed away, and then my grandmother, and then my father, and now here with Gizmo. It's almost like my actual ability to emote my emotions during that time is stifled. It's delayed. And sometimes on the outside, it appears I just don't care. That's so far from the case. I assure you, I care. So about an hour goes by. We've now left, and I'm more returning to my body. The fear and the questioning starts in. Oh my gosh, did we make the right decision? Should we have tried to start on more medicines? Should we have just continued to do more tests? Should we have put him through a radical surgery that had like a 8% chance it would make it better? Should we have just stayed up 24 hours a day and held him and just let him continue to throw up or continue to have issues? I don't know. Maybe I should have this and maybe I should have that. And why? Why did I allow myself to get irritated sometimes and frustrated after being up for the 18th time in the night? What is my problem? I know we couldn't help it. I know that. I feel like such a terrible person. It was all these crazy things. And then your brain like grabs a similar situation. So then I start reflecting on my dad. After several attempts to wean him off of a mechanical ventilator with hopes of him being able to breathe on his own. After a million months, it felt like, in the hospital of medications, trying different procedures, trying, oh my gosh, so many things. Weeks and weeks in the hospital, we came to a spot where there was no more options to assist him. And we did what's called a terminal wean. Then he crossed into the spirit world. So then thoughts start with that. Should I have continued his life, regardless of him being extremely verbal about never wanting to live as what he referred to as a vegetable, quote unquote. He never wanted to be forced to stay alive when he couldn't even lift up his own hand. He couldn't open his own eyes. He couldn't feed himself. He couldn't eat. He couldn't swallow. He couldn't urinate. He couldn't have a bowel movement by himself. He couldn't anything like that. And there we were well into the second year of a very little quality of life. But still, was there more that I could do? There's so many questions. Spirit starts to come in during these moments where I feel like I start unraveling. I start spinning into circles of a million questions, desperate for an answer. Spirit starts to drop in and play clips from previous clients of mine where their loved ones came through. And Spirit reminds me, never, ever, ever have I heard. That was annoying. You should have so kept me alive, even if I was unable to eat, sleep, talk, move, pee, poop, anything. Why didn't you keep me alive longer? I've never had a past loved one come through and say that. Never. And Spirit just kept playing that over and over in my head. They reminded me of the peace that humans and animals get to experience when they cross over. They reminded me of all of this warmness, this love, this the way they describe it is that they can't even relate it to something in human world. Like, it's so different. The feeling that they get, it's this elation, there's no more barriers. There's no more even thoughts of fears or inhibitions or why this or why that or da 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 da. There is this way of making them feel very in their present moment, and they feel safe and they feel loved and they feel supported. And I don't know, it was hard. It's so hard. You know, I went and picked up my youngest daughter after everything with Gizmo, and I took her to the park and I sat down and I said, we got to talk about something. And I told her, that Gizmo had crossed over, and I told her how much he loves her and how much he loved all of the time that he got to have with her and support her. And she just crumbled, bless her heart. And I was reminded she hasn't had life without him at all. My son either. Our dog was 15. It's just, it was heartbreaking. And she said, Mommy, what do you think? What if we went and found him and decided to bring him back to life? Can we do that? And is it against the law? And are you sure he can see us right now? Does he know we're here? And does he know that we love him so much? And what's going to happen? I know they don't have to have their body when they get to be with the angels, but what body do they have? And I couldn't answer every question she had, obviously. And I just grabbed a hold of her. We were parked, of course, and I just sat back and I just let her cry and just lay into me and ask me anything, even if I didn't have the answers. And I would tell her, sometimes Mommy doesn't have the answers. That's the crazy thing about being a grown-up. Sometimes people think that we all of a sudden get all of the answers, but we don't. We don't always get all of the answers. Life isn't always easy to figure out. And while I wish I could prevent all the sad moments, I just can't. But then we talked about the people that he got to see as he crossed over and the peace that he's feeling. And then we cried some more. And we snuggled up with each other and we stared at the trees and we listened to the birds chirp. And we knew no matter what, our hearts would be connected to all of our people that have passed and all of our animals. But I wanted to share that with you guys. Sometimes we can find ourselves stuck in the loop of grief and the emotions keep circling and the heaviness feels impossible to release. It's often Spirit's way, I guess, of inviting us not to escape it. We don't have to run from it. And we can be with it kind of differently, right? Like, it's okay. It's okay to sit with the emotion. It's okay to cry. It's okay to wonder, what if we would have done something different? It's okay to beg and plead and yell at God sometimes. He can take it. Or the universe, or Buddha. They're not a stranger to grief. They're aware of, in our human lives, all of the stuff that we have to endure, and they're here for us. They're here supporting us. Our spirit teams are here. So I wanted to give you a couple points to kind of hopefully help you walk through this. As I went to Spirit and asked for guidance for myself and for my family to do this. And of course, over the last 2 days since this happened, I feel like I feel Gizmo by my foot, or I go to make his food, or I go to fix his little warm fuzzy blanket that he slept in the bed with me, or it's so much a part of your life and norm. It's painful when you go to those spots every couple minutes sometimes in your life and realize it's like you have to have this reminder no, he's not here. No, he's not here. In physical form. And every time it feels like a little jab to your stomach and your heart. Like, why don't you get it? This is the 18th time today you've been like thinking he was here, or you're going to go get him, or where is he? Or I don't know, just all of these different things. So here's some tips to kind of help us go through this. There's only 5. I won't keep you forever. The first one, which I feel like is kind of our guidance for everything, is to breathe. To breathe and bring ourselves to the present moment so we can ground. Because grief pulls us into the past, and then the fear pulls us into the future. And when we take that minute to breathe, to really be present, what sounds are we hearing around us? What smells do we smell? We let that breath be our anchor right now, to the now. And once we return to our breath, which is our life force, our healing can begin. Always, 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 it's a good idea to put one hand on your heart and one over your belly. Breathe deeply, really feeling underneath your hands the movement inside your body. The reminder that you're breathing, that you currently still have life force. And remind yourself, in this moment, I am safe. In this moment, I am loved. In this moment, I am safe. I'm okay. I'm okay. Right now. Even if it doesn't feel like I'm okay. In this moment, I am loved. I am safe. Number 2 is really allowing the emotions to move through you, especially when their intensity grows and not around you, right? Energy, especially like grief energy, has to flow to be released. If we resist and we continue to resist, it stays and it grows. Let your tears fall. Write in your journal how you feel about it, any thought you have, And if you're so concerned of someone reading it or anything, burn it afterwards. But write it first. Allow yourself the ability to release it. Or let it move through your body. And sometimes one of the things that I do pretty frequently, actually, because I seem to be so hesitant to allow it to flow through me, that my first defense is always shooting up a shield and trying to detour it, is simply sitting with my hand over my heart and whispering to myself, telling my higher self, telling my soul self, telling my physical body, I allow this feeling to move through me. I allow right now this feeling to move through me. That doesn't mean it's going to happen in a half a second, then you're good and you're never going to experience this emotion again. But it does start the healing process. Moving through you could be 30 minutes of screaming and crying as it moves through you. It could be just a few minutes. It could be 2 hours. I don't know. And it will likely come back. That's the thing about grief. The thing I dislike about grief is it comes back, and sometimes so out of the blue and so at a time that you can't wrap your head around why it popped in then. But you got to bring yourself to doing these 5 things when it does. And you got to give yourself grace. And remind yourself we're doing the best we can with everything, right? Number 3, connect with spirit and your loved ones. Take a little sacred moment, light a candle, say their name, place your hand over your heart and invite them to come close to you, if you're open to it. But again, please be reminded that when we're in the new phases of grief, when it's happened real recently, it's really difficult a lot of times, not always, but for our energy to match theirs, to be able to connect. Grief is a very heavy emotion, so sometimes it's, even if you do invite them, you may not feel them right then because your grief is so big. And that's okay. That doesn't mean they're not there. So to connect with them, making this little sacred moment, like I said, you can light a candle, turn the lights down around you. You can say a little prayer, say their name, invite them close. And if you don't want to invite them, you can invite your spirit team to come close. You can invite your guardian angel, or you can call on one specific angel. Archangel Michael is always great with this. Mother Mary is always great with this. Spirit often reminds us that grief is love. It's big love with nowhere to go sometimes. So when we come into this little sacred moment with this step, we can shift love into gratitude, connection, or prayer. And sometimes if we've had a moment where it feels like we aren't able to move it through, that it's just stuck there in our chest, sometimes when we do this, it begins to flow again. It begins to calm our nervous system enough to allow it to continue to flow. Number 4, this is a big one. And I think as a society, I think as the human race, period, I think we better figure this out and start doing this. And we need to figure this out about other people too, not just us. But number 4 is practice compassion for yourself. Practice compassion for yourself. There's no right way or no perfect timeline to grieve. Let me repeat that. There's no right way or no timeline to grieve. Okay? So regardless of your employer who says, you get 3 days if it's a close family member, you get a half a day maybe if it's not a super close family member, but you were best friends with them for 900 years. What the hell? Anyway, okay, don't let me get started on that. Anyway, So practice compassion for yourself. Some days you will feel strong, right? Some days you will feel like, I am getting somewhere with this. I am growing. I can do this. I am healing. I just feel really strong. And other days, you're going to crumble from the moment you open your eyes. And while you may feel what you judge as weak, please don't. Please give yourself compassion. Being sad, feeling like you're crumbling, it's not weak. It's not weak. Both of these things are sacred. Do you understand? The days you feel strong is sacred. The days you feel like you're just continuously crumbling is sacred. They're all just parts of it. But again, while you're practicing this compassion for yourself, I want you to whisper to yourself, I am doing my best. I am human right now. I am healing. I am doing my best. I am human right now. I am healing. And I give compassion and love to myself. I am so loved. I am so loved. And I'm giving grace to all these emotions I'm working through right now. I'm giving myself grace as I work through them. Number 5, remember, movement returns when we soften. So sort of like I was describing, with the taking a sacred moment, lighting the candle. When you feel stuck, and there are a lot of times during intense grief where you feel it's like overtaken your internal body, like your body, your chest is going to combust almost sometimes, or your stomach. You feel like you can't think, you can't make a decision. By the way, you should not make big decisions. I would strongly advise you not to make big decisions like buying a house or moving or quitting a job or starting a new job while you're in intense grief, because there's just your brain is not typically cooperating the same as it normally does. But number 5, to remember, movement returns when we soften, right? So when you feel stuck, when you have moments where you feel like you just can't even produce a thought or produce a motion, or to remind yourself it's not a failure. You're not failing at this. You're not weak at this. It's simply a pause, right? It's just a sacred stillness before the next wave of healing comes, right? So you know it's coming. You're reassuring yourself you have started the path of healing. You have. And even though you feel stuck, it's okay. It's just a pause. Allow yourself to rest in it. If you feel like you got to take a nap every day or 2 naps or whatever, and you have the ability to do so, where you have someone watching the children, etc., that kind of thing, like, take a nap, take 2 naps, sleep in, stay in bed for a little bit. Don't let this become your norm. However, it is okay to take time to rest. It really takes a lot of energy from you, grief. And your body, your physical body, gets exhausted. So when people that are grieving talk about being tired, it's legit. It's exhausting just getting up the energy to go take a shower that day, or just getting up the energy to brush your teeth sometimes. But allow yourself to rest in it, not forever, to be clear, but to rest in it for a time. knowing that you're never truly alone. Your angels, your guides, your loved ones walk beside you, even and especially in your quietest moments, right? They're especially next to you in the moments of stillness and the pauses. They're right there. So I know this was kind of a heavy topic, but I feel so much like this time of year starts to do this, starts to really have us start to turn inward, to grab our cozy blankets, to try to give ourselves more compassion. I feel like it calls us to do that this time of year. You know, we've been going and going and going. Summer's super busy, and usually for most people, and the coolness in the air invites us to grab a sweater, right? And to just get cozied up in it. Give yourself a hug sometimes, will you? For a favor to me, if you can take a minute and give yourself a hug today. You deserve it. I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of you too. Just life is freaking tough. A lot of the time. And if you're worried someone will see you, go in the bathroom and hug yourself. Or maybe do it in front of a big group of people and encourage them to do it too. Listen, it's a hug yourself moment. Hug yourself October. That's what I'm going to start. That's going to be my theme. Hug yourself October. Remind yourself how loved you are. Remind yourself that you should give yourself some kudos. Hey, self, thank you for carrying me this far. Thank you for continuing to be with me through moments of hard and moments of great and moments of craziness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. We're going to wrap this episode up for today. Again, as a reminder, if you have not signed up for the newsletter, to go to the website, angelreikijourney.com. Sign up for the newsletter so you are aware of any events we have going on. I need to get on sending another one of them, fall newsletter. And you know, if you haven't taken the time to do some self-care for yourself, whether it's a meditation or a calmness or a hugging, maybe challenge yourself to give yourself 5 hugs a day. Whoop, whoop. Boy, you'll be walking into the next week being like, hey. Anyway, and if you can, book yourself a massage, book yourself some type of healing modality, a Reiki session, of course. You can always book a Zoom session with me or an in-person session with me on angelreikijourney.com. Scroll down to the services, Angel Reiki session. There should be plenty to choose from on there. And book your session. You deserve some care too. You deserve some care too. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And until next week, I love you. I love you. I love you. Bye. Hey everyone, I wanted to take a quick second and say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And I want to take a minute and ask for a quick favor. If when you're listening to an episode, if you could please just take a second, place your hand on your heart and take a deep breath in through your nose and a long exhale out of your mouth. And just set the intention to send love and light to every single person listening right now, yesterday, and in the future. I think together we just might be able to raise the vibration of this world. I'm so excited. And please follow me on Instagram at Angel Reiki Journey. Visit my website to book an appointment with me at angelreikijourney.com. And please follow this podcast, Sacred Soul Sisters. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Have a great day.